Hello dear student, hope you all are doing well. So dear student, today we are going to see about 30th June the Hindu newspaper analysis. So dear student, for last few days I am not able to make this video, so I am really sorry for that, and from now onward I'll try to make the video in the morning itself, so that before 10 am you'll get access to the Hindu newspaper. So first, how you can get this PDF? Simply you can scan this QR code to get our application. From there you can download the PDF. Not only the today PDF, all the previous PDF are already available there. You can simply download there. Okay. So first important news of the day: ahead of the census, the state asked to lock the change in the boundary before December 31st. So before census is going to conduct, so we have to divide our nation into small blocks. If this is our nation, so we have to divide that into small blocks, so that we can collect all the data within that blocks. Okay, so the Registrar General of India, which is mainly responsible for conduct of census, has informed the state that the first phase of the population census 2027, that is the house listing and house schedule, will be tentatively begin in 1st of April 2026, and preparation have to be made accordingly. So to conduct the house listing, we have to prepare. So Registrar General of India has also informed the state that the administrative boundary will be frozen by December 31. So if once the boundary is frozen, so according to that we can enumerate all the housing within that particular boundary. Okay, if any changes are to be made to be limited police station, tehsil and district, it should be done before the said date, like before that date of, you can say, the 1st of December 31st. so we have to complete that. Nearly 34 enumerator and supervisor, mainly official, working with the state government, and 1.3 lakh census functionary are expected to be deployed for exercise. So you can understand how big this exercise is. We are going to deploy 34 lakh enumerator and supervisor, okay, and 24 lakh enumeration 24 lakh enumeration blocks finalized for 2021 census are likely to be used for 2027 count. Okay, so enumerator block are usually comprising of 150 to 180 house or 650 to 800 peoples. The exercise cover all the state phase wise and usually follow the April-September period, when enumerator assign distinct number to each house. Okay, so our census 2021 is going to conduct in 2027. So we are preparing all the required things for smooth conduct of the census. So next is Maharashtra scrap the new 3-language policy. So recently Maharashtra government decided to implement 3-language policy, but because of some opposition by all the political party, they simply scrap this 3-language policy. So panel formed to decide future of the policy for primary classes will submit a report in 3 months. Opposition experts said decision a victory for Marathi peoples. Okay, so you know that the national education policy, it advocate for 3-language formula. So on the basis of that, the Maharashtra government decided to implement 3-language formula for primary education. But because of so many opposition by the different political parties, so they scrapped this 3-language policy, and government set up an expert panel headed by economist, educationist and former Rajya Sabha members Narendra Yadav. The committee will look into the 3-language policy, from which grade it should be implemented. It will study the recommendation of the Maselkar committee report. It will also hear who have a different opinion. The government will accept the Narendra Yadav committee report. So according to that committee, Maharashtra government is going to implement. So this is quite a news, because the national education policy talked about 3-language formula, but this is a different state government, they are opposing 3-language formula, particularly the imposition of Hindi language. So this is a language controversy. You can talk about federal language controversy. This can be a good example that to promote 3-language formula rather than imposing on some states, we need to voluntarily encourage people to learn the different language. That is going to help in more. Okay, so next, in Telangana, the Amit Shah asked the Maoist to drop gun and join the political stream. So we have seen in different locations when the Maoist or left-wing extremism or or the Naxals or the insurgents, they can leave the path of violence and join our politics, and they can follow the political democratic path. So that is what appealed by our Home Ministry. So Union Ministry warned the ultras, they don't be spare if they pick up the gun, urge them to take cue from the ex-militant in Northeast. Now we are seeing once the Northeast is the hotbed of militant, now they are following the path of development. Once those who are fighting in the insurgency, now they are running the government, they are following the democratic path, so the society will be benefit. So our Home Ministry made a target that by March 31, 2026, India will be free from the left-wing extremism. So to ensure that our Home Ministry appeal all the people to forgo the violence and join the path of politics. Okay. So thousands of militants in Northeast have laid down their arm and joined the political mainstream. So that can be a good example. He said that 1,500 Naxal have been surrendered in last 18 months. He pointed out that 10,000 former militants in Northeast have renounced the violence and joined the democratic process. So that is the reason. Even you can see the Tripura is having highest literacy rate. Northeast is developing you can say the rapidly, because people forgo the violence and they adopt the democratic principle. So recently then unveiled the turmeric board. So recently government unveiled the turmeric board. So Shah inaugurated the headquarters of National Turmeric Board in Nizamabad. Okay, the ministry said that you need to remember about the headquarters of turmeric. So that there can be a very good question. The headquarters of turmeric board located in which location? Okay, with establishment of the turmeric board within the 3 to 4 years, turmeric from the Nizamabad will reach most country around the world. Farmer will no longer have to rely on the middleman. The board will establish entire value chain. So now what happened after the turmeric is produced by the farmer, here it is market. So middlemen, they are getting profit. Middlemen, without doing anything, they get profit, and farmer are not getting the profit after this turmeric board. So the turmeric board are the value addition and provides remunerative price to the farmer. So that is going to helpful for our farmer. Now we have begun GI tag certification and marketing of the organic turmeric. Government of India has a targets of 1 billion turmeric export by 2030. So once there is a GI tag, that means there will be high price for the turmeric produced from different part of the world. Okay, different part of the India. So next is the water body or low-lying land, a dispute that lies heart of the Delhi depleting wetland. So this is not an issue of only restricted to Delhi. It is a issue that is facing all over the world. What happened? All the wetland, we are capturing that. We are converting all the wetland into agricultural field or construction site or construction of housing. So because of that, we know that the wetland play very important role in environmental conservation. If you replace all this wetland with all these things, so that is going to bring disaster like in urban flooding, all sort of problem. So a long run tug of war between the government agencies Delhi in Tikri Kurd Lake, so which span about the 40 acre in Narela, is symptomatic why wetland and water bodies are depleting in national capitals. Okay, so it has been 8 years since the center formulated wetland rule, which made it mandatory for all the state and union territory from the state wetland authority. So central government formed the wetland rule. According to that, all the state and UT, they have to form the wetland or developmental authority. Okay, wetland authority main role is to identify and notify all wetland. So wetland authority first have to identify, notify all wetland. Okay, but not a single wetland have been notified in the Delhi. So despite having this notification, not a single wetland we have identified for their preservation. Okay, so even the National Green Tribunal directed the authority to conserve the Tirkiri Kurd lakes. So no action has been taken, and Delhi Development Authority, which own the lake, continue to deny these are the water bodies. So instead of preserving, Delhi Development Authority DDA deny that there is no such lake bodies like water body. This is not a wetland. It is simply said by the Delhi Development Authority. So you can see that the authority, they are not concerned or serious about the conservation of wetland. That is the reason all the problem we are facing. So experts have highlighted that role of wetland in vital city hydrological cycle. Yes, definitely the wetland are very important in the hydrological cycle. So how? So which provides a wide range of ecosystem service like water storage. Yes, wetland store water during excessive flooding season. Then purification of groundwater. Yes, it recharge the groundwater and help in prevention of waterlogging and flood. Yes, these are the functional role. So situation in the Tirkiri Kurd Lake is not rare. So government is not doing anything to revive the water body. Even the water body mentioned in the government record are being legally or illegally filled up with many. Instead of protecting them, government itself engage engage in the destroying of all this wetland or water body. So because of that, in urban area we are facing the problem of flooding, that is called urban flooding. Okay, so Delhi Wetland Authority is supposed to notify the water body that fit the definition of the wetland. It should also provide legal protection from encroachment and facilitate the effort to rejuvenate them. But Delhi has lost several wetland due to unplanned growth and encroachment. Yes, unplanned growth means, you know, there is a real estate industry. They simply use this land for construction of you can say the building. Okay, so agencies at the DDA describe the Tirkri Kud land, a low-lying land where sewer water has accumulated. So thereby it requested the kindly not to issue notification regarding Tikri Kud land under the wetland conservation and management rule. So instead of protecting that, they are asking not to conserve that. So a technical committee of Wetland Authority of Delhi held to 2021 recommended that to notify Lake Edge wetland. After its assessment, it has remained out of the record of the water body. So DDA cannot say. So this story is talking about, you know, we need to conserve our water body, we need to conserve our wetland for sustainable development. But we are seeing that the bureaucracy and all these people, instead of conservation, they are simply denying all these things. That is the reason we are facing all this crisis today. Okay, so next is 3 dead and 50 injured in morning stampede during Rath Yatra Puri. So this is unfortunate incident happened in the Rath Yatra Puri. So the CM, Odisha CM apologized and ordered high-level probe, announced that 25 lakh are to the kin of the victim. Some devotee alleged that absence of police during the night hour and district SP and collector transport. So Congress demand time-bound judiciary inquiry. Okay? So this unfortunate incident happens. The devotee, 2 of them women, were killed, at least 50 were injured in a stampede near the chariot carrying deities during Rath Yatra in Puri. So this is a clear indication. Time and again we are seeing so many stampede that is occurring different part of the world, not part of the India. So that is a clear indication we need to have crowd management. So we need to have crowd management. We have seen that severe stampede that is occurring in the Kumbh Mela, even recently after the celebration of RCB win. So we have to have systematic approach for the management. Okay, okay, not much is important. So next is 8 Tamil fishermen held by the Sri Lankan Navy. CM seek the central help for their release. So why Tamilian fishermen are arrested? I'm just giving you a context. So just have a look of it. So this is India, this is Sri Lanka. So this is called Polk Strait and Gulf of Mannar. So this, you know, the Sri Lanka is prohibited the bottom trawling. Bottom trawling is prohibited by the Sri Lanka, but Indian fishermen, they do all this bottom trawling. So because of that, there is a severe damage to the ecology of this region. So due to that, the catch in the Sri Lankan water is declining and Indian water is also declining. So sometime Indian fishermen, they venturing into the Sri Lankan water, and due to that, the Sri Lankan Navy and Coast Guard, they arrest all the Indian fishermen, and they also seize their boat also, or you can say trawler also. Sometime even some of fishermen are died because of the firing from the Sri Lankan Navy and Coast Guard. So the Sri Lankan Navy arrested 8 fishermen of Rameswaram and seized mechanized trawler on the charge of poaching on the early hour of the Sunday. Okay. So Chief Minister K. Stalin wrote to the Minister of External Affairs Jai Shankar requesting him to ensure that safe repatriation of arrested fishermen and their boat, to initiate a diplomatic talk with Sri Lanka. Okay. So we know that there is a island that is located in between. It is called here it is a like, you know, according to the India Sri Lanka agreement. So there is a island, it is located called Kacha Thibu. Kacha Thibu is now part of the Sri Lanka, but you know, according to that agreement, in this Kacha Thibu, Indian fishermen have right to do the fishing, but now Sri Lankan Navy and Coast Guard, they repeatedly arrest the fishermen from there. So because of that, it is quite contentious issue, and each government try to have control over it. So next is a very important issue. So you can see here, old warrant, new arrest. So more than decade after the tribal community of Odisha, okay, Narayan Patna block launched a movement against the liquor vendor from outside their community, which led to the struggle to reclaim their lost land. Arrest warrant are now being affected against them, prompted by a court order and executed by the police. People say they are being punished for mass uprising, while police claim that people associated with the Chasi Mulya Adivasi Sangh have the Knoxal link. ठीक है, what happened? Just I am just explaining. This story you can write in your left-wing extremism answer. So when you know it is the faulty development, it is the faulty insensitive approach of the Polish officials led to the suffering of the people. So first, over past 200 past year 200 arrest warrant have been executed in Narayan Patna. So from mid 1990, so the Chasi Mulya Adivasi Sangh, a farmer labor group fighting for the tribal right, began demanding demanding that liquors of set of a non-tribal people from outside area taken down as they are leading to the addiction among the Adivasi. Yes, this is a good movement because people are against the addiction. Soon this led to the demand for land that belongs to them be returned from the people from the outside who has been begun to control it. This was an area under the constitution of 5th schedule that administers certain land for that tribal people occupy. Under this land cannot be transferred to the out of tribal control. So dear student, under the 5th schedule of the constitution, the land of the tribal area, it cannot be transferred to the non-tribal area. So that is the reason tribal are demanding the return of the land. So later on, the Polish officials, they falsely implicated. So the Chasi Mulya Adivasi Sangh has been branded Knoxal with alleged link with banned Communist Party of India. Okay? So the police forced them, many tribal people oftenly falsely implicated to surrender under various government schemes. So police falsely say them surrender under various government schemes, you will get good amount of money and rehabilitation package. So because of surrender, it create a lot of news and hype. So the surrender have widely publicized in newspaper and television, portraying the Chasi Mulya Adivasi Sangh member as Maoist supporter or militia who has laid down arms. In truth, member consistently cooperate with both the administration and the police, though they are cooperating. The current arrest come again the backdrop of Home Ministry crackdown on the left-wing extremism and decided to eradicate the Naxalism before 31st March 2022. Because of this pressure, so now police officials and state government, they are implicating this tribals peoples. So that is what the problem is. So whatever may be the condition, we need to eradicate the no doubt left-wing extremism, but it should be in a human way. It should not be victimize other. The tribal uprising, after generation of subjugation, the tribal finally tested the power of assertion. Okay? They move, the bondage never resolved the debt. So this is what said, began the mobilizing fellow tribal, encouraging them to harvest forest produce along with cultivation of paddy. I forced violence resistance from the both upper caste Dalit group for uniting tribals. Over the time, the movement successful in reclaiming around 3,500 acres of land. So fearing the movement could spread to the other area, paramilitary forces such as BSF, Border Security Force, Central Armed Forces were deployed to suppress it by the government. Okay? So you can see how the things have been portrayed by the different media, though there is no linkage with the tribals. Okay? So here you can see the if innocent people are implicated, so there is high chances that these people might join the Knoxal. Okay? So we need to ensure that those who are innocent people, they should not be implicated falsely. Okay? So next is synthetic gene DNA from the scratch. So that means, what do you mean by synthetic genes? That means we have to manufacture genes from the scratch. Okay? So between 1990 and 2003, more than 2,800 scientists around the world sequence almost entire human genome. This was called Human Genome Project. A project का नाम क्या था? Human Genome Project. At the cost of 2.7 billion, aim to identify every human gene, make data freely accessible to accelerate biological and medicine. By 2003, team has produced first reference human genome covering 92% of 3.1 billion bases. So we have decode all the genes of human beings. So that can be used for development of medicine, treating disease, so all sort of thing. The effort led to the better genome sequencing technology, anticipated policy decision on genome discrimination and IP rights, paved the way for Genome World Associated Study. So this Human Genome Project has helped in studying about the human genome, study about gene. Okay? So now researcher in UK have launched synthetic human genome project, where human genome project read the human gene. Synthetic human genome project will write, we have to rewrite, design it over the next 5 years. Scientists from the 4 institutes including University of Oxford, Cambridge built a large piece of human DNA from scratch, developing necessary knowledge and technology along with the way. For starter, they will supported by global by GBP 10 million grant from the Wellcome Trust. Okay, so next is that is going to help in artificially designing the human gene. So very enthusiastic about the synthetic human genome added. It is critical when developing new technology to understand not just issue of potential utility but also concern with the safety and risk. So there might be safety, any change in modification or wrong in the genetic design that might have severe consequences. Very importantly, societal value which may be impinged. So project has already begun controversial over the risk of scientists being able to create designer baby. So that might be pave the way for designer of the baby as per our requirement. So which is very critical. A concept on rivalry clauses eugenics, that means selection of selective promotion of particular genes, okay, and engineering microbe that might escape into the wild and damage the fragile ecosystem. Let's say we have designed a microbes with some gene, so that gene might be transferred to the some of the natural virus or bacteria that is available in the environment. So they can be genetic resistance, they can be resistance to the bacteria, so that might create some severe disease and it cannot be cured. So that is what the concern of synthetic human genome. So just read it, there can be a very good question. So the Nobel wrote the alchemist wine is stating the fungal biological budge. So in a startling discovery, so researchers from the Sichuan University and University of British Columbia have found that the Botrytis fungus cannot be cloned. So there is a fungus that his name is Botrytis that cannot be cloned. So wine making circle, so the Nobel wrote an exalted name of the Botrytis fungus. If it infect the grapes, penetrate in the skin, cause the berries to lose water by evaporation, and then small in size, thus concentrating the sugar and flavor in them. For example, if this fungus is entered into this grapes, then it will dry off all this water, leaving behind the taste and flavor in a concentrated manner. So that can be used for making premium wine. But thing is that this fungus name is Botrytis cinerea. It cannot, normally in each and every organism, their you can say nucleus contain all the gene, but here their all gene is not contained in a single nucleus, rather it is distributed among the multiple nucleus. So this can be a very good question if it is saying that all the microbes, all the fungus having all their genes are contained in the nucleus. So this is not correct. Okay, so this makes the picking process labor intensive and dried off in the cost. So cost of the grape juice from roasted grapes is used for making high quality sweet wine. ठीक है, स्वीट वाइन के लिए मेकिंग होती है. सो ऑल एनिमल्स, plant, fungi, nucleus of a cell contain one or more set all of these chromosome of the organization. So nucleus is containing all the information for reproduction. This property of nuclei allow us to clone the animal, so that help us to make similar copies of particular animals. Scientists can transform such a nucleus which contain all the DNA instruction into egg cell whose own nucleus has been removed in the right condition, prompting development of a new organism. However, but this discovery fungus cannot be cloned, nor can another fungus be called transport, because they are in this fungus no single nucleus contain the complete set of the chromosome. Instead, the chromosome set is distributed across two or more nuclei, and any one nucleus contain only a subset of that. So that is the reason it cannot be cloned. Okay, just remember that this is more than important for your examination. So we are not here for medical science. This information is more than important. So next is PM has pragmatic approach, want to reset Indian ties, says the ex-envoy. So recently the Canadian Prime Minister invited the Prime Minister of India during G7 summit, and after that there is improvement in relations between India and Canada. Before that Justin Trudeau was the Prime Minister of Canada, and there is a allegation or accusation that Indian agents are involved in the killing of the Khalistan separatists. So because of that relation is declined, but the Prime Minister of Canada recent invitation and resetting tightening of the tie is a good example. This is what said. So Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has pragmatic approach to the global and domestic affair, which make vastly different from his predecessor Justin Trudeau. Could have helped reset the country's ties with India. Yes. So talking about Hindu relationship, so they are talking about how our relationship have been strained and now it is improving. Okay. So recently we know that Bangladesh bow most credible political poll in its history. So recently we know that after removal of the Sheikh Hasina government and new government, caretaker government headed by the Muhammad Yunus, so he promised to establish a credible poll. So it is remained to be seen how credible it is. Okay. So next, at International Space Station, Shukla takes up the experiment on skeletal muscle degradation. Okay, so you have to remember this skeletal muscle degradation in this space. So group captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who is aboard the International Space Station, has commenced the research activity on orbital lab. Okay, so in International Space Station it is orbiting in outer space, so it is under microgravity environment. Everything will be float. According to the Axiom Space, the crew member they fully immersed in their mission, having transitioned smoothly from arrival protocols to hand-on research. Okay, so the study M2 this skeletal muscle deformation study M2 understand the biological pathway behind the skeletal muscle degradation in space. A major challenges of astronauts. By identifying those mechanisms, researchers hope to develop targeted therapy that could not only protect space travel but also are people suffering from the muscle degenerative disease on the earth. So it is generally seen that the application of the space having spin-off whatever the technology that we are developing for space, there can be a spin-off application in our civilian application. So by studying this skeletal muscle degradation, there can be medicine for people those who are suffering from degenerative disease on their muscles also. So ISRO has shortlisted 7 microgravity experiment, so which Shukla conducting in next 14 days. So myogenesis has been proposed by the Bangalore based Indian Institute of Stem Cell Science. Okay. So and medicine. So 7 experiment is expected to nurture in microgravity research ecosystem in India, resulting in induction of advanced microgravity experiment in various disciplines in Indian space program. Then ISRO and NASA will also participate in 5 joint science investigation and 2 orbit STEM mathematical demonstration. So like after reaching in the International Space Station, so we'll conduct so many experiments there to understand how things are going on, so that is going to helpful in our Gaganyaan mission. Okay. So next is reservation chart set to be prepared 8 hours prior to departure of the train. So this is what changes, so that people those who are staying far flung area, so they can have time for preparation of alternate either they can able to get the train or they can find alternate arrangement for transportation. Okay. So 2 killed after landslide hit hotel site in the Uttarakasi. So here you can see that India is highly landslide prone country. So if someone asks about which region of India is prone to the landslide, so we have to answer that there are regions that is prone to landslide. They are northeast, then Jammu Kashmir or Himalayan belt, entire Himalayan belt, northeast and Western Ghat. Okay, so these are the landslide prone areas, so you need to know that. So next is monsoon cover entire country 9 days ahead of the schedule. So monsoon is covering very fast. So southwest monsoon have covered the entire country 9 days before the normal date. 8th July, Indian Meteorological Department said the monsoon reached the Delhi on Sunday ahead of the normal date June 30. Okay. So according to IMD, this is the earliest monsoon have covered entire country since 2020. So this year monsoon also arrived very early. Okay. So here you need to remember some date. Monsoon usually takes onset in Kerala 1st of June and cover entire country. So July 8, it retreat from the southwest India, that is from Punjab, and 17th September and withdraw completely by October 15th. However, this year monsoon reached Kerala 1 week earlier and onset the Indian mainland. So this is earliest onset since 2009 when it is arriving 23rd May. Okay. So next is 2052 village adjoining the line of actual control LOC in Kargil district declare reserve area. So the villager, they will get reservation under this government jobs. So India reject the Pakistan claim about the attack on the Waziristan. So recently there is a terrorist attack that is happened in the Waziristan, western part of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa of the Pakistan, and Pakistan blamed that India is involved in this attack. जैसे कि हमारा कोई काम ही नहीं है, हम जाके कचरे में पड़े. So India rejected this contempt, accusation of Pakistan. ठीक है, we need to be very strong here. ठीक है. So next is Congress floor the proposals to revive the mining operation in Sariska Tiger Reserve. So dear student, it is a homework. Study about the Sariska Tiger Reserve. Where Sariska Tiger Reserve is located, what are the unique feature of the Sariska Tiger Reserve, and what are the other tiger reserve in Rajasthan. So the Congress on Sunday attacked the center and Rajasthan government over the reported plan to draw the boundary of the Sariska Tiger Reserve for reactivation of 50 mining operations. So this is going to ecological devastating, because mining operation create lot of environmental degradation, so that might impact the tiger population. So the Sariska Tiger Reserve near Alwar is outstanding example of revival. Once there is a zero tiger population, so tiger population at the Sariska has been reduced to exactly zero by December 2004 thanks to the hyperactive poaching network. So because of this poaching network, they killed all the tigers. Along with there is a nexus between the poachers and the forest department, so they killed all the tigers there. So this created national wide shock and creation of the tiger task force in 2005. So after that, now it is being revived. Okay, and initially the initiated Sariska forced considerable skepticism and themselves. Now the tiger at the Sariska is 48. So we have revived from 0 to 48 number. So it is our responsibility to protect that, so that we should not let that again reduce to 0. Okay. Okay, so this is your homework. Study about that. So next is airline are not reporting misconduct of passengers, say the aviation watchdog. So that Director General of Civil Aviation said that the operator, they are not reporting misconduct of passengers. Okay, so the airline operator either substantially delay the reporting to the incident passenger misconduct or unruly behavior, not reported them at all, pointing to the increasing number of cases where passenger rage or unruly behavior pose threat to the safety of the flight. For example, you are not following the safety instruction and not during takeoff you need to open the window. So if you are not following, then need to be complained. For example, smoking in the flight. So all these things need to be complained, but they are not following properly. So that is what creating safety concern. So next is Haryana village son, the family of the Navy clerk, arrested for spying. So recently there is a Navy clerk accused of spying the information and providing this information to the Pakistan based handler. There is the accused is a upper divisional clerk and Director General of Dockyard in Nausena Bhavan. She was he was allegedly leaking the classified information to the woman handler of Pakistan intelligence, Pakistan inter-service intelligence, who pose as an Indian woman. So that is what called honey trap. They honey trap and extract the secretive information. So next is Manipur delegations to meet Home Ministry officials today. So Manipur is boiling because of conflicting among the Meiteis and Kuki. So now they are agreeing. They are in the discussions to find a solution. A member of one of these organizations said that discussion should focus on the 4 issues, that is territorial integrity of Manipur and opening of 2 arterial highways, resettlement of the rehabilitation internally displaced people, and security from the farmer living walking periphery of the Impal. So first one is the Kuki, they demand autonomous state, like that kind of demand. So that is what the Meitei community believes is a threat. So because of that, they want territorial integrity of the states. So North Meitei member are part of this delegation said. So Manipur has been turmoil since May 3rd, 2023, when ethnic conflict between the non-tribals Meiteis people and tribal Kuki community broke out. So conflict has left more than 250 people dead and 60,000 people displaced. Okay? So violence has come down over the past few days, but tension prevails specifically along the buffer zone at strip separating Meitei dominated Imphal Valley from surrounding foothills of the Kukijo people in majority. The issue of territorial integrity referred to the demand by some Kukijo group creation of separate administration. They demand separate administrative unit. So that is what opposed by the Meitei community. The Meitei continue to bar from using the National Highway 2 and National Highway 37. Okay? So now Meitei people are not able to access because this road is blocked by Kuki. so which connect the Impal Valley to rest of the country through this area is controlled by the cookie. So the farmer in the valley operating under the field close to the buffer zone have occasionally come under the attack. Recently one farmer is also died because of the attack from the cookie. Okay, so this ethnic conflict is going on, so that is the reason government is discussing to find a solution to this problem. Okay, so how will the new visa rule affect the online privacy and security? So recently USA made a new rules that if you want to study in USA or migrate in USA, you have to make your account open and you have to provide the detail of your account to the immigration authority, and immigration authority will check your social media account to find whether you are having any idea that is against the principle of, or you can say the idea that is against the sovereignty, integrity or idea of the USA government. So this is what recent taken by the step, so which is being criticized, that violation of the right and selectively allocating the people who are in favor of the current dispensation. So because of that it is lot of being criticized, because it violate the privacy also. Okay, so not much important. So next is why Axiom 4 need 28 hour of to reach the International Space Station. So it is saying that the International Space Station is located only 400 kilometers. So what is the point of traveling 28 hour? Why it is taking so much time? So it is taking time because let's say we are launching this Axiom mission. It is our International Space Station. It is traveling, it is also traveling. It is not this simply traveling directly, but we have to, it is also traveling very fast. It is like Axiom mission is also going to catch that. To catch that we have to perform so many maneuver so that we can easily catch that. Okay, so why Axiom mission? Space and NASA specially use the Space Dragon crew capsule for this mission. So we know that our group captain Subhanshu Shukla is the first space lift, okay, Falcon 9 rocket from NASA spacecraft Florida. So by the time the rocket it reach, so it take around 28 hours. So why 28 hours is needed to help the go? Just imagine if this is the Earth and we have launched this Axiom mission and the International Space Station is traveling at a certain speed. So it is traveling very high speed. It has to travel and catch, like for example, the moment it reach here, the International Space Station will be reach here. So it has to also travel the same speed. So to catch and gradually dock there, so we need to perform complex maneuver. So because of that it is taking long time. So this is what it is talking of. Okay, so you can see here it is rotating at a very high speed. The International Space Station is rotating very high speed. So to catch that we have to perform certain maneuver so that smooth docking can be performed. Okay, so why Election Commission of India delisting political parties? So why Election Commission of India delisting political parties? So Election Commission of India has initiated step to delist the political party. So in India there are so many political party, they are registered. So step to delist 348 register on recognized political party. उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? URPP उसको बोलते हैं RUPP, register on recognized political party that have not contested election in last 6 years and whose offices could not be physically located. There are so many political parties, they simply register but they don't contest in election and they don't have any physical office. So what are the registered political parties? So the right to form an association is a fundamental right guaranteed under Article 19(1) subclause 3 the constitutions to all citizens. So political party is an association or body of individual that can form by the citizens. So you can form under Article 19(1) and C. So Article 29 of Representation of People Act lay down that the requirement for a registered political party with the ECI, any political party that seeks to registration should submit a copy of its memorandum within 30 days. Let's say you want to establish a political party, you have to submit a memorandum with your constitution and you have to promise that you will follow the constitutional principle and the preambles. Okay, it also should bear the allegiance to the principle of socialism, secularism, democracy, uphold the sovereignty, unity, integrity of the nation. So after reviewing that, Election Commission may grant that particular political party register on recognized political party. So register on recognized political party enjoy benefit like tax exemption. Whatever may be their received donation, they are not payable to any tax. A common symbol for contesting general election in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then 20 star campaigners. 20 star campaigner during election campaign, and the expenditure of this 20 star campaigner is not included under the electoral expenditure of the candidates. Then register unrecognized political party required to maintain detail of individual donor who have donated above 20,000 in a financial year and submit this detail to the Election Commission of India. Okay, as for sections 29 of the RPA, so failure to furnish this information, so they will lose the income tax exemption. So you have to remember all this section and what are the benefit that is getting a political party once they register under the Election Commission of India. Okay, so the register unrecognized political party under Income Tax Act are further required to accept donation in excess of 2,000 only in check or bank transfer. Okay, so any amount more than 2,000 they have to accept only in check. If they are receiving more than 20,000, then they have to make the record of that. Okay, so what are the issues? So there are so many political party in India, but few are contesting election. So most of they are created for evading the paying the taxes. Okay, so that is the reason the steps are taken. And recently there is a Supreme Court judgment, National Congress versus Institution of Social Welfare, held that Election Commission does not have the power to deregister a political party. Though Election Commission of India having the power to register a political party, but they don't have any power to deregister a political party. It may deregister only under the exceptional circumstances, such as registration as being obtained in the fraud or political party cease to have allegiance to the Indian Constitution or has declared as unlawful by the Government of India. If these are the conditions, under that situation, Election Commission of India can deregister a political party. So Election Commission of India from time to time publish the list of delisting inactive registered political party. Okay, so contain the list of 281 deregistered party inactive party. Okay, so Election Commission publish all this data of non-active political party that they are simply created without participating in election. So what need to be done? So present exercise have identified 345 registered unrecognized political party have not contested any election 2009 and not been physically located anywhere. So election have been directed Chief Electoral Officer of the various state and UT to issue show cause notice to the registered unrecognized political party before deciding delisting them. This is a welcome step. Would we prevent such letter pad parties only in the letter? They are not in real world, just written in the paper. So misusing the tax exemption or committing any financial fraud. So it is believed that they have created all this political party for purpose of tax benefit. Okay, like they receive political donation and that donation is not payable, that person are not payable to any tax. Okay, so this is all about even the law commission. You can see here the law commission of India act talk about need to amend and remove such political party those who are not contesting election. Okay, so next is the revenue generated by the Similpal Tiger Reserve 2024-25. So dear student, just you have to map the location of Similpal Tiger Reserve in which state and what are the unique provision or what are the fauna, flora, what are the river that is were found within the Similpal Tiger Reserve. Okay, so next is Tuvaluans that have applied for climate visa to the Australia. So the term climate visa is quite important for your examination. More than 1/3 of the people in the tiny Pacific island Tuvalu, which scientists predict to be submerged by the sea rise, have applied for landmark climate visa to migrate Australia as per official figure. So you have to remember what is the climate visa. So this term and the Tuvalu is the first. Tuvalu is the state that is going to submerge. So you can talk about why there is a group of country called SIDS, small islands developing states. So they are very concerned about the climate change. If climate change will happen, so these islands will submerge under the water. So one such example is Tuvalu. So they applied for the climate visa. So Boeing faced headwind from the crash and competition. So Boeing, recently the aircraft, Air India aircraft that is crashed in the Ahmedabad, and there is a stiff competition from the Airbus also. So because of that, they are facing a lot of challenges. Not much important for our examination. I have just given you, just read it out. You'll find a lot of things. Okay. So this article is talking about during emergency how we have conducted forced sterilization. We have not spared anyone. We, particularly whosoever we find, we forcefully sterilize them. So that is what hunt that is ultimately led to the failure of our family planning. So as India marked the 50th anniversary of emergency, one of the most horrific and least acknowledged chapter of Indian democracy is state sponsors forced sterilization practice, popularly known as Nasbandi in memory. The sterilization campaign, masquerading as a population control, was spuriously neo-Malthusian eugenics exercise of state violence. So the Malthus actually talking about the growth of population is geometric, like 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, but the growth of food is like 1, 2, 3. So it is talking about population growth will outpace the growth of the of food and sustenance. So because of that, this disease, all this outbreak will inevitable, so that some people can killed, so that you can sustain the remaining people. But recent time the demographic transition theory rejected this Malthus theory, and it is believed that rising population can be by feed the sustainable food by having industrial development and development of agriculture. What began as a globally endorsing population policy, so initially all over the world our population policy has been supported, so they have been funded by the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, okay, but later on during national emergency, so we use the force to sterilize the poor people. And we are not Sanjay Gandhi, the main person who involved in this, Sanjay Gandhi. So they force the poor, slum, Dalit, okay, so to undergo the forced sterilization. Okay, so because of that, so many people have been died. So this is also called sterilization bullet massacre. Even some incident where police started firing on the people just to pursue the sterilization. तो उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? Sterilization bullet massacre. ठीक है, just read it out so that you can give a very good example whenever it is talking about how whenever we are imposing certain thing forcibly, it is going to fail. So the population control policy of India is not able to achieve its objective because of, you can say, the forced sterilization, and the people are not, because of that people create apprehension on the government. So because of that it is not successful. So for successful of anything, we need to have community participation. It should be community driven, it should be participatory in approach rather than impositive. Okay. So next is language of unity. So uniformity should not be confused with national unity language policy. Though national education policy talked about 3 language formula, but the language should be provided in a flexible way. देखो, understanding, learning language should be interesting. It should not be imposed by someone. If we start imposing one language over other, so that might create hatred for that language. So the current government need to understand that, and instead of imposing, it should be promote in a voluntarily, so that people will learn lot of things. And at the same time, the northern or people from the Hindi belt, they have to learn some southern language, and people from the southern region, they also have to learn some other language, northern language also. Then only we can say that we are successfully implementing 3 language formula. Okay. So near the year later, colonial era law to new criminal codes. Recently we have implemented 3 criminal law. So after that it is talking about how the investigation officer need to deals with taking the photograph and make the video and then geotagging. So this article is talking about the practical problem that is the the officials they are facing. For example, this application from where they have to take the photos, they have to upload the video, it is only available in Android, and lot of police officials don't have this a mobile, so they have to buy new one, and the government are giving them are not in a large number. So that is also going to delay, and there are a lot of other things available, like it is not integrated with the judiciary system. Still we have to do all these things manually. So this is talking about all these things. Just read it out, you'll understand it. Okay. So next is revisit the digital search power under the IT bill. So recently the finance ministry introduced a proposal in parliament, allowed tax authority to access under the income tax and individual virtual digital space. That means all your social media account can be accessed by the income tax authority during search and seizure operation. This justification straightforward, as financial activity move online, so must the enforcement. The tax authority can raid your house, they can collect all these document, but now we are transitioning towards online or digital format. So same power as per the finance ministry, same power given to the authority to enter into a digital space. But problem is that in a digital space, everything, it is not only limited to the finance. We are like, everything is in digital. So if you have access to that, so there might be widespread misuse and abuse of our privacy. So that is what it is talking about, a blurring, and it is open ended. So this might be having a violation of our right to privacy. Okay. So even the Supreme Court judgment in Puttaswamy cases, it is talking about proportionality test. So state can violate the privacy, but provided that it should be proportionate, it should be valid reason, it should be achieve some good intention. But here it is out of proportion. So rather than that, government need to find a new mechanism, so that while it is giving power to evade the tax, the income tax authority can have a way to crack down on those who are evading tax. At the same time, we need to respect the privacy. Okay, so this is the detail of the 30th June newspaper. So dear student, I'm really sorry for not able to provide the newspaper analysis for last few days. So from now onward, I will try to publish the newspaper in morning itself, so around 10 a.m. so that all of you have access to that. Okay, dear student, so I'll have to end our discussion here. So dear student, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any suggestion, feedback, please give in the comment box. So according to your suggestion, I'll make the video. Dear student, take care, bye bye, have a good day.